Every space you've ever walked into has potential. Every single one, yours included. So if that's true, why does yours feel impossible? Here's the thing. Nothing about it actually is. It's not that you have bad taste. It's that your brain is trying to protect you from a decision it doesn't know how to make yet. That's what we're going to talk about today. You know that one project, the half-painted accent wall, the renovation that stalled halfway through, the closet you gutted 2 years ago and never put back together. You can probably picture the one. And here's the strange part. A room you've never touched doesn't bother you nearly as much as a room you started and abandoned. That's psychology, not decorating. If this is your first time here, here's the lens I look at every space through. It's not about pieces, trends, or what's popular right now. It's about the psychology underneath why a space feels the way it does. That's what this channel is actually about, and it's exactly what we're doing today. There's an effect researchers have studied called the Zeigarnik effect. It's named after a psychologist who noticed something odd about waiters. They could recall a complicated unpaid order in perfect detail right up until it was paid. The moment it was finished, the memory of it disappeared almost instantly. Your brain treats your home the same way. An unfinished project doesn't feel like a break. It feels like unfinished business, unresolved. So it keeps quietly pulling your attention back whether you're standing in front of that room or 3 rooms away. That's why a half-finished project can feel heavier than a room that's simply outdated. Outdated isn't asking anything of you. Your brain filed it away a long time ago, even if you don't love how it looks. Unfinished never gets filed away. It stays open. Sometimes what feels like a taste problem is actually an unresolved room your brain has quietly carried for months, maybe even years. But an unresolved room isn't proof it has no potential. It's actually the opposite. You wouldn't still be circling back to it if some part of you hadn't already seen it, what it could be. Every room you own has the bones, a layout that already creates a path through the space, a window placed exactly where the morning light hits first, proportions that were measured out before a single piece of furniture even went in. None of that showed up by accident. And none of it disappears just because the room feels off right now. That's the potential. It's already there, underneath whatever isn't working. It doesn't need to be invented. It needs to be seen. But most people don't walk into a room and see potential. They walk in carrying every unresolved room they've never closed the door on. And the second something feels unsolvable or impossible, your brain stops looking for what the room could be. That's the part nobody talks about. Before we get into what to do about it, I want to talk to you about why it happens. Because once you understand why your brain shuts the door on your own space, you stop blaming your so-called lack of taste and you start working with your brain instead of against it. There are a few specific reasons this happens, and I want to walk you through them because I think you'll recognize yourself in 2 or 3 of them. Reason number 1. You're attached to what's already there. Once something's in a room, like your couch, a paint color, a piece of art from your old apartment, your brain stops noticing it. It just becomes furniture, somewhat invisible. You stop asking whether it belongs and you start to think about where to put the next thing. The room keeps getting added to. It never gets reconsidered. I did reconsider my lovely Kate Moss, and actually it's in my laundry room and I love it there. Reason 2. You're facing too many decisions with no order to them. Paint color, furniture layouts, lighting, art, textiles, all of it hits you at once with no sense of what to decide first. When everything feels equally urgent, nothing gets decided on at all. Reason 3. You're looking at objects instead of relationships. Most people scan a room piece by piece, the couch, the rug, the coffee table, asking, do I like this? Instead of, do these belong together? Potential doesn't live in any single piece. It lives in how the pieces relate. If you're only ever evaluating items, you'll never see what the room is capable of. Reason number 4. You're comparing your space to a finished one. Pinterest, Instagram, other people's homes. You're comparing your half-finished room to someone else's fully staged, professionally lit room. That's not a fair comparison, and it doesn't teach you anything about your own space. It just makes you feel behind. Reason 5. You're trying to solve the room before you've diagnosed it. This is the big one. Most people go straight to solutions, usually buying a new rug without ever asking what's actually causing the room to feel off in the first place. You can't fix what you haven't diagnosed. You'll just keep guessing. Do any of these sound familiar? I'd guess more than one. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this isn't really about design at all. It's about how you handle unclear problems. I'm not a psychologist, but what fascinates me and what this whole channel is really built on is psychology as it applies to perception and decision making inside a space. Not psychology in the clinical sense. Psychology as in, why does a room make you feel one way and not another? And why do you make the choices you make once you're standing in it? Because once you actually understand it, you're not just decorating anymore. You're building a life that feels as good as it looks. A pattern I've seen over and over in nearly every home I walk into is if you have too many things left undecided, no clear priority, no order, no plan, you don't experience that as an exciting decorating opportunity. You experience it as tension that hasn't been resolved. Vague, layered problems with no obvious starting point trigger the same response as any overwhelming situation. You look for the exit. That's why so many people stand in a room, feel the weight of everything that should be done, and just leave. Close the door, put the laundry basket in the corner, and say, I'll do it another day. That's not laziness. That's you protecting yourself from a decision you don't have enough structure to make. This is why more information doesn't help. You'd think watching another video, saving another Pinterest board would bring you closer to clarity, but it usually does the opposite. It adds more open variables when you're already overloaded. More options without more structure isn't clarity, it's more weight. Here's the part I want you to really sit with. You don't have a decorating problem. You have a clarity problem. The room isn't the obstacle. The lack of a way to think through it is. And I want to be clear about something before we go further. None of this is here to judge the state of your home right now. It's here to explain why you might feel the way you do inside of it. Because here's what's going on underneath it. You're not looking for a perfect room. You're looking for small, visible signs that something is actually finished. This isn't about willpower or effort. A room can be low effort and still feel calm if it gives you something you can call done. That's the piece most people are missing. They keep adding effort to a room that was never asking for more effort. It was asking for closure. So how does someone do this for a living and walk into a room, not feel overwhelmed or freeze? Well, I will tell you, because we think about the space in a completely different order than most people do. I want to walk you through 5 of those shifts. See the potential before you see the problem. The first thing a designer does in any room isn't hunt for what's wrong. We ask, what is this room already trying to be? The light, the layout, the flow, what's working with it? And that shift, potential first, problem second, is the difference between a room that feels like a to-do list and a room that feels like a possibility. Try it next time you walk in. Don't ask what's wrong. Ask, what is this room capable of? Put your thoughts in order before you touch anything. Overwhelm isn't caused by having a lot to think about. It's caused by thinking about it all at once. Designers don't hold the whole room in their heads at once. We always have a sequence. We think vision first, then structure, then the details. When your thoughts have an order, the same room that felt like too much suddenly feels like a series of smaller doable decisions. Know what questions to ask. Most people ask the wrong questions. They ask, what should I buy? A designer asks, how do I want to feel here? And how do I actually use the space? These questions sound simple, but they change everything because they diagnose before they decorate. You're not going to solve a room you haven't actually asked anything of. Build a plan before you make a move. Random improvements like, a new pillow, a new lamp feels like progress, but it rarely adds up to a finished room. Designers work from a plan, even a loose one, so that every decision works towards the same vision instead of just reacting to what looks good in the store that day. A plan is what turns a pile of good pieces into a room that actually holds together. Trust the decisions once you've made them. This is one people don't expect. Designers aren't more decisive because they never doubt themselves. We're more decisive because we've built a way to stop second guessing a decision once it's aligned with the vision. Most people make a good choice and then talk themselves out of it. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's what happens when a decision was made with a clear reason behind it. You don't need to keep asking the room for permission. That's the shift all the way through, from reacting to a room to actually thinking your way through it. None of what I just walked you through is about having better taste than you do right now. It's a different way of thinking about the space you already have. thinking like a designer is the key. It's what turns a room you've been avoiding into a room you actually know how to move through. Your home was never missing potential. It was waiting for you to look at it in the right order. But remember that unresolved room we talked about earlier? Thinking differently opens the door. Resolving the room takes something else. Direction. A next step. And then the one after that. That's the part I want you to remember and to take with you. Alignment over aesthetics. Not more pieces, not more inspiration. Clarity first, and then direction to carry it through. If you're ready for that direction, that's exactly what Discover Design gives you. The step-by-step process, room by room, that takes you from thinking like a designer to actually finishing like one. I'll leave it in the link below. Either way, next time you walk into that room that's been bothering you, don't ask what's wrong with it. Ask what it's trying to be. I'll see you in the next one.